Hi, it's Elisa. Hi, everyone. So, in my last video, I talked about moving to Italy. And, basically, I just watched it and I had all my boxes packed up, and I was in the process of a big move. So, I have, sorry, I have moved. So, I'm in Italy. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the process and how I'm feeling, and yeah, basically just tell you a little bit more about it. So, this is my flat. Maybe I can show you some part of it. Da, 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 da. Anyway, this is obviously the living room. There you go. So, and I was thinking maybe one day I can do like a apartment tour. And I'm wearing this pink boob tube for two reasons. One, because I was watching my videos from 7, 8 years ago or something like that, and I used to be a lot more sexy, uh, and obviously I have changed, for obviously if you have watched my videos, I did change a lot and over the years, and I don't need validation as much as I used to, but at the same time, that's a part of me that is also fun. And I look cute. So here I am wearing a pink boob tube with my fuchsia nails, still going strong. And also because the other thing I wanted to say after about my move to Italy is that in last May I had what people call like a Brazilian butt lift, or a BBL, or a fat transfer from my lower belly and flanks onto my hips and buttocks. So then I'll show you my results and give you my thoughts as well. But first and foremost, Italy. Wow. Like, as I was looking back, I have to say, it's quite emotional to look back to the video of me packing up, which was only like 2 months ago, in January. We're now at the end of March. This is the last day of March, 31st. It's been hard, I don't know if I said that in my last video, but I am letting my property in the UK, which gives me, not an amazing income, but, like an income. And I am living in a flat here that is owned by my family. So basically I'm not paying rent. And I have some income, passive income coming from my property and from something else, which gave me the freedom to basically leave my job, And I am now, I give like English private tuitions in Italy, and I don't have many people at the moment, so I've got something in my mouth. Oh, sorry. But I do already have some people. However, my life has changed completely, It's been like 360 because I had a full-time, full-on retail manager job, lots of responsibilities, like any job, but particularly when you are the manager of the place, it's basically you're the go-to person, and for all the employees in the store, and now I don't have a job. um, And certainly, this is a purposeful choice, or I did it on purpose, because I wanted to change life, you know. Uh, I still don't know, the deepest reason why, I did this big move. I All I know is that I found myself in a completely different life where, I have a lot more time, and I feel a lot calmer. I sleep a lot better. I certainly eat a lot better due to being in Italy and loving Italian food because I am Italian. Um, the cultural adjustment is massive. I mean, um I'm a UK girl. I'm Italian. I have an accent. I know, but I lived all my adult life in the UK, in London. So I am not acquainted with, the way that people deal with things in Italy. What I mean by dealing with things, I mean, emotionally, they are a lot more outspoken, if you will, but also rude in English standards. Just because, for instance, I'm used to London, where wherever you go in a store, people smile and say hi, how are you? It's just standard practice. Over here, it's not necessarily like that. Like if somebody's busy, you just have to wait. Nobody says hi. So you could perceive it as rude. I do see, though, that it's more human. It's like there's a less customer-centric retail culture. And apart from that, which is a small part, it's also a big adjustment for me personally. I mean, it's been hard not to have a job. And I have, initially looked to get a job with the same company I was working for in the UK, a cosmetic company. But they didn't have any part-time position, and they asked me if I wanted to be manager or wanted to kind of explore. And I thought about it, but then was like, I kind of refused, but just because it's not what I came here to do. I just don't want to go back to, full on 40 hours a week responsibility. Although, I don't have to. The thing is, if I had to, I would gladly do it. But seeing that I have arranged to have an income differently, that gives me the space to do things that I like. And I have. I have been going to a couple of book presentations. I went on Thursday. I went to the presentation of a film festival. Sorry, called Lovers, which is like a LGBTQI film festival that is taking place in this city, which is called Turin. This is the city in April. And generally, just seeing friends. I made a new friend and got reacquainted with my first boyfriend from back in the days, from when I was 19 years old, and just been helping him with stuff. Because he's going through some health-related issues, and he needs to go to hospital, and he wants somebody to be there with him. And it's a long story, but just to make the long story short, I've been able to kind of take him to doctor's appointments and so on and so forth. I am not gonna lie. It is hard. I am. I have moments where I miss London so much, and I miss my home. I have a beautiful little apartment, and it does feel like home. I do feel safe and comfortable here. Um, but especially at first, I moved in and I started crying. I was just thinking, I want to go home. I want to go home. And I realized I was thinking in English, I want to go home. And I was thinking, I can't, I can't go home. And, of course, I have tenants. It's not like, my house has been, destroyed or is on fire, has gone, is on fire or something. It's still there. It's still mine. I have tenants, I'm grateful that I have actually an income from it. It's just like wonderful. But my feelings are like, I miss home, and I miss my friends. So yeah, it's all part of this, I and I think I didn't want to think about this part so much, rightly so. But then again, now, missing is not a bad thing, I miss people because I love them. I miss places because I love them, and they're all still there. At the moment, this whole project is like going on for a year. After which, I'm going to decide what to do. Anyway, closing the chapter, so to speak, about Italy. I want to open a new chapter about my bum. So I had this procedure in May called BBL, and I'm going to make like a more sort of in-depth video, I suppose. But just to make the long story short, they take fat from different parts of your body, depending on where it is, and then they put it on your hips and your bum, just so as to give you a more kind of like hourglass shape with a sort of like smaller waist and bigger hips. To be honest, you guys, as a trans woman, I have struggled and I'm still struggling, because although I can see that the surgery went well, it did what it had to do. However, it changed my body shape, and, I was not unhappy with my body shape before. I was quite like, my waist was quite small, and then I have flanks, I have fat around my flanks, and then my hips are not that narrow. So, I wasn't sort of like Kim Kardashian, but for a trans woman, I was happy with my shape. So I did this a little bit out of vanity, I suppose, because my bum was not very voluptuous, was quite flat. And I found myself feeling sometimes like, oh my God, like all this fat that I had here is gone. And yes, like my hips are a little bit bigger, but somewhat I felt unhappy. I felt like, it wasn't enough, or that it would, it didn't really feminize me. Now, I mean, I can see that it did, and it's just one of those things. I think sometimes it takes a lot of time to adjust changes, and, whenever there's changes to the body, it's not so predictable. Like, what I want to say as well is like, if you make something bigger, then something else is going to look smaller. Vice versa, if you make something smaller, something else is going to look bigger, like, make an example. I did my brow boss in here, but I didn't do my nose. And I know that, for instance, this part, now that this part has receded, this one is protruding a little bit more. And on this side, this is my good side, you can't see it. This is not my good side, and you can see a little bit more. But, it's fine. Same with the body. If you take away the flanks, I felt like my body now, like the top bit is like straighter, and then you go hips. Whereas before it was more like this. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm going to show you. 1 second. Let me just... So this is it. So as you can see, they took it from here and here and they put it here. And I don't have a massive bum, but that's what it is with the tag. Anyway, that's it. So that's why I'm also wearing a boob tube. But more than anything because I wanted to give a nod to my old self, And by the way, I did say that. I sleep better, I eat better, I feel way more relaxed. So, and I think I look it as well. All right, thank you very much and bye-bye.